Chickpeas. I've made a lot out of chickpeas. It is getting a little ridiculous now, and I completely understand that, but we're gonna keep going because I enjoy a little ridiculous every now and then. And this recipe is not gonna be any different. Today, we're making 1 can of chickpeas into Subway cookies, but specifically Subway Macadamia Nut Cookies, because I used to love those cookies growing up. I haven't had them in a long time, and I have a chickpea cookie recipe that is really good. First things first, we're going to drain our chickpeas, saving the aquafaba, saving the liquid. Now, typically for this recipe, I would take the skins off. If there's some loose skins just floating around, like if you could just quickly squeeze and grab the skins. So we're just gonna set this aside for now, and I'm gonna show you a little trick that I wanted to do today. This chickpea cookie recipe requires a nut butter. You could use peanut butter, cashew butter, almond butter, whatever butter you wanna use. And we're also gonna be using an almond flour. The peanut butter is kind of expensive. The almond butter is kind of expensive. Everything's expensive now. Instead of using peanut butter, because I use that more often than I use almond flour, I'm gonna do kind of like a 50-50. To do this, you need a high-powered blender or a pretty good food processor, like your little bullet processors probably won't work. 1 cup of almond flour. Now, almond flour is kind of like the first step before almond butter. All the fats and everything are still in this. When you process dry almonds, you're gonna get flour, and if you keep processing, you'll end up with almond butter. So all we're gonna do is we're just going to pulse. We're gonna keep pulsing until this kind of starts to butter together. It's wild how this works. We're almost butter, or what's gonna work for this recipe as a butter. But I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of just creamy peanut butter. I'm using a natural creamy peanut butter. And yeah, that's pretty smooth. That is pretty creamy, pretty stoked about that. Now I need 2/3 cup for this recipe. Let's move right into our chickpeas. I'm gonna add the chickpeas right into the food processor, and then let's process down until we get these pretty smooth, like a hummus. Probably just 2 or 3 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor. Do you know how many contaminants are in your city's sink water? I found a tap water database, and what I found was shocking. In the city of Orlando, where I live, there was over 16 total contaminants and 5 which exceed healthy guidelines. And over 240,000 nano and microplastic particles are found on average in every liter of bottled water. I dug a little deeper, did a few tests, and I found a solution that I love. Today's sponsor, Cove Pure. Cove Pure is third-party laboratory tested and removes up to 99% of harmful contaminants, including heavy metals, microplastics, forever chemicals, and arsenic by using their clear wave filtration technology. It sits on your countertop and works seamlessly. No plumbers or drilling needed. It's perfect for renters or those who just want a simple plug-and-play solution. You can get cold water, warm, or even hot water. I've been making tea like crazy lately with this thing. And with this, I can see that my water is clean and clear. There's no chlorine in my drinking water. Along with being able to monitor my water quality on screen in real time. I love that. So gang, Cove Pure is an investment to ensure your family has access to safe, clean drinking water. Scan the QR code or head to covepure.com/SauceStache to get $200 off. Cove Pure, thank you for sponsoring today's video and for the incredibly clean drinking water. I mean, you could tell the difference. It's wild. Okay, we're back. So this has gotten worked out. It's pretty good, you know, it's not super smooth, it's not super hummusy, but you know, it's smooth enough at this point. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of aquafaba and then keep processing. I'm gonna process this all down in steps just to get this dough as smooth as possible. Starting to get pretty smooth. Okay, I'm liking the way this is looking at this point. Just gonna knock this all down in. Let's add about half of our nut butter. Process again for another minute or 2. Boom. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna add the rest of the nut butter and the rest of our ingredients. Now, along with that, we're gonna add 2 more tablespoons of the almond flour, and then we need 3 tablespoons of sugar. Now, you can use whatever sugars you like. If this is too much sugar for you, use less. This is not too much sugar for me because these are cookies and I want them to have sugar. Can you use other sweeteners or other alternatives? Absolutely. Now, I'm not gonna mix this on high. I'm just gonna mix it on low until it all kind of comes together. I don't wanna mix it too much. You can see, oh, real quick. You see, this is, but the funny thing is it kind of smells like cookie dough. It really does. So, macadamia nut cookies, we need some macadamia nuts, and we need white chocolate chips. The amount that you use is totally up to you. I'm gonna do about half of a cup of white chocolate chips, and I'm using a plant-based white chocolate. Pulse these in quickly. And then we're gonna do about a quarter cup of macadamia nuts. Chop these up a bit. Just gonna toss these guys in. And then same thing, just pulse them in real gently. That looks pretty good. Pretty stoked about this. Now at this point, this cookie dough is pretty thick, but it's also soft. So I'm gonna throw it into a bowl and then into the fridge just to kind of firm up. While this is firming up in the fridge, preheat my oven, 350 degrees. Once the oven's preheated, we could pull these out of the fridge and start scooping out a little bit bigger than a golf ball sized cookie. Throw that onto a parchment paper or a Silpad lined baking sheet, and these are gonna be phenomenal. So we're gonna bake these for about 7 minutes, and then I'm actually gonna take them out. I thought they were gonna kind of flatten out a little bit on their own, so I'm actually gonna flatten them. I know that's kind of silly, but they have flattened out in the past. For some reason, this version is not doing it. So I'm just gonna use a piece of parchment paper and just a little spatula, kind of press down. They were pretty soft, so they might have gone on their own, but I wanted to help them out. I'm actually going to give them a few more macadamia nuts because I like macadamia nuts, and you know what? The macadamia nuts didn't really come through. So then after that, we're gonna toss them back in the oven, bake them for about another 8 minutes or so, about 16, 17 minutes total. And you can see these actually came out pretty awesome. I'm gonna let them cool down on the Silpad before I remove them over to a wire rack so that way they can dry up, and then boom! I mean, these look amazing. Look at these. They're soft, but they're gonna be super good. So let's see what Monica has to say. Okay, baby. Have you ever had a Subway cookie?
No.
Really?
Yeah, no, I never,
oh my gosh, this is like defeats the purpose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, have you ever had a macadamia nut cookie?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I will say these are soft. That's one of the things about Subway cookies is they're pretty soft, but these are super soft.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Delicious.
They are soft. You have to hold it like a pancake.
I don't mind soft cookies. I like them usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, super good. Okay, so these are gluten-free.
This is awesome. I love this.
Yeah, the white chocolate chips kind of disintegrated, but the taste is still there. I'm a little bummed about the white chocolate chips.
Yeah, it's got like a slight peanut butter taste, but I mean more just a nutty taste because it's nutty. If it's a soft cookie, which I love like a soft cookie. It's chewy, or it's got like a nice chew.
I probably made them a little bit too thin, but I wanted to get them big enough to be like Subway size.
Okay.
They probably didn't need to be as thin as they are.
It doesn't matter. It's really good.
Yeah.